Have you ever tried to pry a teenager from their phone, or any sort of screen for that matter, and get hit with a look that says, "Why would I want to be doing anything else?" If your answer is a resounding yes, then you've got the right video for you. Welcome, wary parents and guardians, to a video that is going to teach you how to motivate a lazy teenager. Here, you won't just scratch the surface, but dive deep into the psychology of teens, arm you with effective strategies, and by the end, you won't just understand your teen better, you're gonna have them springing into action, willingly. The impossible? Nah, we just really like challenges. Buckle up, because this is about to get transformational. Hey there, I am JP, and not too long ago, I was exactly like the teen that you are trying to motivate right now. And believe me, I was not too thrilled about my parents wanting to kickstart my motivation. But now, with the magic of hindsight, I've got a unique insight. I am here to bridge the communication gap, drawing from my experience as you navigate the treacherous waters of teenager motivation. Remember, this is about creating real change, sharing tried and tested strategies, and of course, learning a thing or two together. Let's get started. All right, we're dealing with teenagers here. So the thing that we need to start off by remembering here is that they're not kids anymore, but they're not adults either. That's the beauty and the challenge of the teenage years. See, the brain of the teenager is still developing, particularly the frontal cortex, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and impulsivity. So when teens are behaving irresponsibly or impulsively, it's partially because their brains are literally still constructing. Understanding this will provide us the base for our approach. See, the first tactic we're going to try using is motivating them with autonomy. Most teens have a strong desire for independence. This shocks no one. Use this to your advantage. Provide them with choices. Give them the power to make decisions. Even in day-to-day chores, ask them, would you rather do the dishes or vacuum the living room? Giving them choices actually reduces power struggles and gives them motivation to do stuff. Now let's get into communication, a really big one. Often, teens will tune out their parents when they think they are being lectured. So, turn your lectures into discussions. Instead of saying stuff like, "Oh, you need to study for your exams," ask them, what is your plan for studying for the exam? And don't do this in an ironic or lecturing kind of way. Do this literally in an open way that says you're curious about them. Engage in conversations that trigger critical thinking and decision making. Understanding their interests is a really powerful tool as well. If your teen loves basketball, for instance, you need to use that in order to communicate with them as well. You can discuss how discipline and effort often results well in the court of basketball. And this can be a conversation that easily transitions from the basketball court to the classroom too. If they love art, you can consider talking about how their creativity can be an awesome problem-solving tool. Draw parallels between their passions and their responsibilities, and you're gonna see that communication flows a lot better. But be sure to understand what you're talking about. Trying to talk about their passions without knowing anything about it will literally be wasting time. Now, another thing you might have noticed is how teenagers absolutely enjoy rewards. And why not? Don't we all enjoy rewards? So let's use this as a tool to promote motivation as well. You could actually develop a reward system, but we need to keep it dynamic. If it's too predictable, it's gonna lose its charm and your teen is gonna look right through it. You need to make the rewards actually desirable for them. It could be extra gaming time or a trip to their favorite place. Sometimes even just their preferred meal works. The key is to make the reward contingent on effort, not just success. This way, they value hard work and they're not too worried about the end result, which is pretty much what life is absolutely all about. Are you with me so far? Everything good? If you're enjoying the video so far, could you please leave a like? It'll help us out tremendously and more people will see this video. Knew I could count on you. But let's continue with our deep dive. A major part of your teenager's years is the identity formation. Teens are still trying to figure out who they are and what their place actually is in the world. As a parent, you definitely need to create a safe space for safe exploration. You should be encouraging them to try new things, not preventing them from doing so. You should allow them to experiment, to make mistakes, to learn from them, and to be comfortable with their failures. This freedom to explore is often a major motivator for teens. Now let's talk about goals. A huge way to motivate your teen is to set short-term and long-term goals with them. You need to make sure that these goals are both achievable and realistic. Let them dream big, but also teach them how to break down big dreams into small steps. This will give them a sense of direction that most teens actually lack. This new sense of purpose can actually be extremely motivating, and achieving these milestones is super rewarding for them too. Importantly, remember to respect their time and space too. Like all of us, they will need time to recharge. It's essential to maintain a balance between leisure time and productivity. All work and no play leads to burnout, guys. And also, you need to understand that their idea of relaxation can vastly be different from yours. If they want to play some sort of video game that's actually intensive for you, it could be extremely relaxing for them, and you might not just get it, but allow them to. And now we've come to the point that we need to discuss a major concern for lots of parents, which is technology. It can be a double-edged sword. While it can definitely be a distraction, it can also be a really powerful motivator. See, as I said, if your teen loves video games, why not let them explore some sort of educational game? If they spend hours on social media, why not encourage them to follow these inspirational figures that can actually tell them something about the real world that you think will be of value? You should be using technology to promote a love for learning and growth, and not just wasting time mindlessly scrolling through Twitter. Another strategy involving technology is to encourage them to join groups or social clubs with people of their own same interests. Social interaction and shared hobbies is a great way to boost motivation. And group dynamic, both online and offline in the real world, is a massive boost to productivity. That's how accountability buddies work. Finding friends with similar interests will often motivate all of them to perform. And last but definitely not least, you need to understand how positive reinforcement and constructive feedback come a long way. If your teen is not meeting expectations, it's essential to address it. But the approach definitely matters. Instead of pointing out what they're doing wrong, you can actually suggest ways that they can improve. Make it clear that your intention is to help them grow, not put them down. And sometimes you might think you're doing one when you're actually doing the other. These strategies will hopefully give you a roadmap to guide you through your teen's treacherous motivation waters. But remember that every single teenager is unique. There is no one-size-fits-all strategy that will fit every single one of them. What works for one might definitely not work for another. It's about understanding them and meeting them where they are, and also guiding them to where they want to be, not where you want them to be. And here's a bonus tip for sticking around until the very end of the video. Teenagers are driven by emotions more than they are driven by logic. As I said in the beginning, because their brains are still developing and such. So appeal to these emotions. Connect with them on an emotional level. It's super effective, yet completely underutilized in most parents' arsenals. And the last thing I have to say about motivation is that it's not a switch that you can simply flick on. It's a process. It takes time. Patience, persistence, and love are your best tools for success here. And please keep in mind, motivating them is not about getting them to get the best grades or to do their chores. It's about nurturing them into motivated, self-reliant, awesome adults. But you already know that, right? Since you're here. You're definitely an amazing parent, willing to learn and grow for your children. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found these strategies helpful and useful, and maybe you'll try a couple, maybe you won't. Hopefully your teen does get motivated in the end. But if you want to find a community of parents just like yourself, willing to learn and grow in order to help their children, please consider joining our newsletter. It's filled with parents just like yourself. We have a really cool community, and we have an email newsletter that is actually going to send you a lot of tips and tricks in order to help your child become the best version of themselves possible. Until next time, remember that parenting is not about perfection, but about understanding. Keep the conversation going, stay curious, and let's continue to learn together. Thank you once again. This is JP signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.